Hi there, Rakshit. So another essay from you. Let's get straight into this and see what you have to say. Okay, employment over 60. People should retire after 60 and not work. Let's see what you said about this. Okay, experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated upon whether working when one is over the age of 60 is correct or not. This essay will discuss both sides, using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. All right, now check this out. I know you've said that you're going to discuss both sides, but in fact, that's not what the essay has asked you to do. The essay has asked you to take a stand, to say what you think. So rather than making this your thesis sentence, I really would have preferred if you had said, I believe that A, B, C, D, whatever your opinion is, okay? And you can qualify it if you want by saying, while I believe this, on the whole, I believe that, okay? So, because that's what the essay has asked you to answer. They haven't asked you to discuss both sides and then prove your arguments. All right? I hope that's clear. Let's move on. On the one hand, there's ample evidence that employees over the age of 60 are suitable for higher positions in MNCs. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, they have accumulated experience by working for many years, which is crucial to nurture the younger employees. Secondly, they are highly dedicated towards their work, which rubs off on, you don't rub off to, you rub off on other employees and benefits, which rubs off and benefits the company. Fine. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that 90% of all team leaders in MNCs are workers over the age of 60. It must not be forgotten that although they may not be effective in their work, they help the company in preparing the future workforce. Why do you say they may not be effective? That's an interesting thing to say, because you've said that they have accumulated experience, they're dedicated, so that's an interesting thing to say here. I don't know if it necessarily helps your argument at all. Okay, therefore it is conclusively clear that old employees, although they may not bring immediate profits, they help the country in the company in the long run. Again, I don't know why you say this, because this whole paragraph has been about how they are suitable, and all of a sudden you're saying, well, maybe they're not effective, maybe they don't bring immediate profit. So I'm a little confused here about this contradiction in this paragraph, okay? All right, let's see. On the other hand, although there is a case for them benefiting the company by developing a younger workforce, the impact of their age cannot be overstated. This is largely because their health worsens as they age. You get rid of the which. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that 70% of the employees over the age of 60 suffer from diseases such as diabetes and hypertension, consistent with the line of thinking that despite their Consistent with this line of thinking is that, I don't know how to make this work, but I think that's one way to do it, that despite their dedication, oh, you know what, don't even put consistent with this line of thinking, just say, despite their dedication, they may not be that efficient while working. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that old employees' health issues may hinder them from working. Okay, fine. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the poor health condition of old employees may deter the work of the company and may often halt the work process. It is predicted that many old employees may be asked to retire after the age of 60 in future years. Okay, fine. So, all right, fine. So basically, the order of your paragraphs is correct. I'm glad you did that. A lot of the grammar is really very accurate, so that's good. The vocabulary, for the most part, is fine. It's appropriate. Like I said, here I had a couple of question marks about these last couple of sentences. I felt like there was some contradiction, so I didn't really understand. And then, of course, because it didn't ask you to discuss both sides, but instead it asked you to what extent you believe one thing or the other, you could have said that. You could have said that while there are numerous benefits of having older employees, on the whole, the disadvantages outweigh any advantages. All right, that's the kind of thing you need to say, because really this is how you developed the rest of your essay. Okay? Alrighty, so let's go on to your next essay. Lovely, the chips. Okay. Kind of long, just looking at it, but that might be okay. Let's see what you said. The bar chart depicts the sales of Intel and AMD chips in the calendar throughout the year. No. The bar chart depicts the sales of Intel and AMD chips in France throughout 2017, or in 2017. But this doesn't really make sense to me, okay? This in the calendar throughout the year. Alrighty. Intel sales of chips rose steadily from January to March. Let's see, the color of Intel is blue. Fine. So Intel sales of chips rose steadily from January to March with 50, 80, and 95,000 respectively. In the coming, not in the coming month. The coming month means next month, okay? So that's not what you want. In the following month is what you want. In the following month, however, they dipped to 20,000, comma. Nonetheless, they continued to rise, not it, because it's sales, it's not singular. They continued to rise to reach a peak of 125,000 in June. All right, and then it's fine, but you did have to make a couple of corrections here like this. Though they dropped drastically to 20,000 in July, they continued their growth in the coming month, not in the coming months, again, in the following months, with steady sales between August to October, before rising above 100,000 in November, and they remained almost the same in December. Okay, fine. Yes, fine. Appropriate, accurate, fine. All right, AMD sales. Now, why are you telling me about the second month? What happened in the first month? Ah, okay, got it. Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. So, AMD sales in the second month skyrocketed to 120,000, comma, almost 6 times that of January. Okay, I understand why you did it. I understand, although I think personally I would have preferred hearing about January then telling me that it skyrocketed to 120,000. So it just makes more sense to start with the first month. You could have just said that. The year started out at 25,000. This figure then skyrocketed sixfold. That's another good word you could use. To 120,000 in the following month. Okay. Regardless, their sales plummeted in the following months. Again, you're using coming months wrong. Plummeted in the following months, reaching a nil value in June, with 10,000 in the month. That's awkward. You know what I would have liked here? Rakshit, I would have liked instead, you said what you said about February, and that's fine. Then you could say that in the following 3 months, it plunged to almost the initial levels. Okay, and then you could take care of March, April, and May together. All right, so it plunged to almost the same levels as January. And then you don't have all this awkwardness here, because this is really rather awkward. And then, of course, you could say June recorded no sales whatsoever. The sales in the following months, again, upcoming refers to future, so I don't want you to use it, okay? So the sales in the following months from June to December fluctuated. You don't want past continuous here. So they fluctuated with this, respectively. Okay. Again, it's a little too mechanical. This 110, 45, 85. I mean, I'm glad that you're trying to fill in all this information, but I find that the way you're presenting it isn't really effective. You could have just said, you know what would have been nice here? If you had just given a range, if you had said they fluctuated between 5 and 110,000, and that would have been okay. Or, what are we talking about, July to December? Or you could have said that they fluctuated from a high of 110,000 in July all the way to 30,000 in December. All right, so you could have done that with lots of fluctuation in between. But I find this to be not really a very sophisticated or clear way of really expressing all this data. I'd like to see better grouping. Okay, November marked another one of the least selling months for AMD chips. Fine, then you could say at 5,000, and then you don't have to mention it here. Overall, Intel dominated the sales throughout with a similar trend in the 12 months with an all-time high in June, whereas AMD saw its all-time low in the same month. AMD peaked early in the month of February, well, not, okay, early in the month of February. However, its sales fluctuated throughout the year. The month of April was marked by both companies having similar sales. Okay, so that's a lot of information in your overview. It's accurate. It's correct. I like it. So there's some good elements here. I want you to be kind of careful with this kind of thing. It just gets, like I said, a little clunky, and I think there are more sophisticated ways of expressing groups of information like this. Okay, and I hope that my suggestions are helpful to you when doing this in the future. So that brings us to the end of this correction. I hope you found it helpful. You need to obviously correct these essays now, add to your error correction list, send everything back to us with your next essays. So I'll let you get to that. Good luck, and I will await your next writing assignments.